Awesome. Awesome dude and
Well,
dudette.
good afternoon. I know it's afternoon there. It's evening for me here, 11:37 to be
They,
exact.
I'm afraid they can't see you at the moment because we haven't started as such. But it's good to hear that you're there. That, by the way, everyone, is Jimmie. Jimmie Heaven. We'll be speaking with him very shortly. He's our first ever, well, not just guest, but he's a very good friend of mine. And certainly we've known each other for quite a while. But that'll all become apparent and clear when we get things underway. We have just gone live, bit of behind the scenes for anyone watching on Facebook, I think. Just going to double check. Oh, yeah, that's very good. I'm almost shocked it's working. What I will do is press another couple of magic buttons. That's good. So anyone watching this on ShineCast on Facebook, well, this is before it all happens, because we're actually about to continue with our recording, and that's what most people will see. But if you do follow here on ShineCast, you will see what's going on. You'll even see, Jimmie, are you there now? You can talk and they'll see you just before we go and do the thing.
Good afternoon.
Oh, good. Live from Japan, right?
Live from Japan. I just bought an extra bottle of Jim Beam, so I'm talking, I can bear talking with you.
Lovely, excellent, awesome stuff. Right, let's see where we're going to go with this. I think everything's set. We're going to take it easy because this is really a rehearsal.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Would you like?
Testing.
That's it. You just rehearsed that. That's it. Your glass there. Was that a good rehearsal?
That's great. I'm ready. I'm ready to roll.
Hey, right. I better press that button. The trouble is, there's too many buttons. The more buttons you press, the more confusing it gets. So I'll just say, welcome everyone. Those that are watching live, those that are watching the recording won't hear this. Let's get the titles underway. Stand by.
Well, I just want to add something here. I've been actually testing. I've been testing this
Stuff.
No, this tough stuff with you right now, but I'm not getting any response for with my tests.
In what respect? What do you mean? What do you mean?
I mean, I'm hoping that people can comment and while
Not
we're
today.
watching.
I don't think that they can if they happen to find us and stumble upon us. But this is very new, as you know, and you are the first person to feature on ShineCast.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
So there's no chat or comments
if
area.
they want to chat or comment, there is actually, yes, there actually is. And if I just, where are we now? Yes. Oh, beautiful.
I was testing, but I'm not getting any response. I'm not sure if this is working.
Would you like
correct.
to send a test? Yeah, I think you should send a test, Jimmie, and then I see that you've got that, but somewhere, let me just that's the private chat you're using.
Oh.
And if I oh dear, there are comments there. If you actually go onto the
comment section.
No, on the Facebook page where we're live right now, which is ShineCast or ShineCast on Facebook. Then if someone's on there, I think I can comment myself. Oh, there we are. If I just go, I'll say hello and send a comment. I think that will just yes, there you go. So ShineCast has commented themselves, and if I press this button here, look, then you can actually see on the screen that ShineCast. I can make it live there. Isn't that cool?
Oh, it says hello.
Yeah, because I was a viewer on Facebook just now on the ShineCast page. It's pretty cool stuff. So there you go. But I do enjoy the. I think I'll keep my eyes on the private chat. Not so much from now on because we're gonna just get on with what we're doing here. Lovely, Jimmie. That's what it's all about. Awesome stuff.
So how's the weather? How's the weather where you are? I mean, exactly. Where are you?
Ask me that again in a moment during our broadcast. It's a good topic.
We're not broadcasting. What are we doing?
No, because this is, again, the podcast. We're going to just get this underway. The podcast is about to start. But what I'm saying to you is most people won't see what we're doing here now. If they're watching the replay, stand by.
Okay, wait, hold on.
Hang on. Right. Here we go. Let's get the recording underway. Stand by. Titles are ready. Let's go. Seriously? I'm just checking the technology. Oh my goodness gracious me. Here we go. Third time lucky, isn't that what they say? That's more like it. Welcome to ShineCast, everyone. Where are we right now? And that is in the middle of some craziness. This first, well, it's a test, but it's not a test because, believe it or not, some of us here do know what we're doing. You wouldn't believe how long we've been live streaming for, and that we do it professionally and for a living. For a living, yes. But how many times did those titles roll before we realized that this software that I'm using is pretty awesome stuff? There's various streaming softwares out there and different tools for different jobs, and this serves the purpose just well right now. I'm Martin Shine, and I'm in London, UK right now. And over the weeks, days, months going forward, we're going to be speaking to various people who've got something not just to say, but something interesting to say, people that I think that you're certainly going to want to get to know more. And hopefully they'll be featuring here regularly. Without further ado, I'm going to explain to you that right now we're going to be joined by someone who I've known for quite a few years, but somewhere up until recently, there's been certainly a big void in us seeing each other in person because of distance and where we originally met. But maybe he'll explain a bit about that shortly. Live and direct from Japan, the south of the island there, it's Jimmie Heaven. Hello, Jimmie. Can you hear us loud and clear? That's the question.
Good evening, good afternoon, there, wherever you are.
Local time as we are recording this and live, it's 3:45 on the final day of July, the 31st.
No, it's not. It's 11:45 in the evening here.
2020, and it's a crazy day because just before we went live, you were asking me about the weather, weren't you? And as it happened,
Yes.
I think it is officially the hottest day of the year. 95 degrees Fahrenheit today. We were warned about that a few days ago. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we just finished the rain season here. I'm in Nagoya in Japan. So we just finished the rainy season. It's gonna be hot weather, hot summer from now on. From now on in. Of course, I know it's probably a lot hotter than there.
Well, of course, I was just going to say it's at very unusual times as well. I really didn't know where to begin with this. There's no point in planning this test, first broadcast, whatever you want to call it. As you've been saying to me, and one of the big sports brands says over the years, just do it. And we finally done. How long has this taken to get together, Martin? Just a while, right? But things have been pretty hectic. Cheers to you, Jimmie, as well. I don't have anything right here now, in anything appropriate that I could possibly.
Well, I bought an extra bottle of Jim Beam because I know I was going to be speaking with you.
How do I interpret that comment? Certainly have a drink for me, if that's what you mean. Absolutely, yeah, Jim Beam.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers to you too. And of course, it's no better time to say keep safe, because right now, of course, we are enduring something across the planet that just well, I say we haven't obviously experienced such a pandemic before, but I don't think there's been many situations with
100 years. It's about almost 100 years to be exact since the last. So there's nobody really. Well, I don't think there's anybody alive that. Well, there's a few maybe that were maybe 2 or 3 years old at the time. Was it the Spanish flu? And that lasted about 2 years.
Yeah, very possibly. But again, this is it. Everybody these days, you just carry on with what you're doing. We're all so wrapped up with the now, and life is so fast these days. You know, particularly
drink at home. Drink at home. It's much safer.
More affordable and affordable, right?
And affordable, but it's very safe.
You see, we've got a lot of people out there who, you know, they're hitting hard times with the economy the way it is, and employment. But a lot of people they've been able to, and they should have been able to save some pennies, pounds, shekels, dollars, cents, because and yen, of course. Other currencies are available. Euro. Let's not go there right now. That's another conversation. But yeah, hopefully people have been able to save on some of that financial, you know, stuff, because well, you haven't been going out. You haven't been able to go to restaurants, bars, pubs, clubs, cinemas, movie theaters, any theaters. So as I say, we're all kind of this is playing out for all of us as it happens, right? And a lot of people, I get it. A lot of people actually don't like that. I used to be someone who really likes to plan ahead. I still do for some things, but it's also nice to go with the flow. Sometimes there are people out there that just love impulse, spontaneity, but it can be scary at times, particularly when things are so uncertain as they are with the health situation and COVID-19 right now. Jimmie, how is it going there in Japan at the moment with
Well,
controlling the situation?
controlling stations. We're having a second wave. I don't know if it's whether it's a second wave or they're finally doing tests. You know,
Mhm.
my heart goes out to the people, especially as you mentioned. We're not going out to restaurants, but those people need to make a living too. So I do feel sorry for these people that who have restaurants or eateries or bars, and it's really difficult to survive. But I do see a positive thing in this, that we're moving forward. Technology, how we communicate, how the world, how the work world is changing too. So you know, I've been one of the fortunate ones where uh, actually I've seen an increase, a little bit of an increase compared to before the COVID-19, because I'm teaching online. So if you have a business that's deals with things online, then you know it's a good time. And I think more and more things will be moving online, including like maybe legal consultation, medical consultation. We could go on and on. So yeah, it's a new time. It's a new world. It's a
It
new
is.
era.
It's something. Some would say that it's something maybe that should have happened time ago, and you know, because of all this new technology. Well, it was what 20 years ago. You know, home computing and all this IT digital infrastructure that we've all got now. You know, our cell phones, smartphones. Certainly
Absolutely.
now they've been around for a decade at least now.
We're
Um,
behind schedule. We're
yeah,
we're behind schedule. Actually, let me put. I want to say something here.
please
I
do.
was watching interview, and I can't remember exactly, but it was with a professor from a university. I'm thinking it was in Paris, and he was saying that you know they have been discussing going online with their classes and their lectures for the past 20 years. So they've been going back and forth within the professors and the
I think.
faculty in the university,
Yeah.
going back and forth and saying, okay, we should do this, we got to do it online, and then the other half saying, no, we shouldn't, it's got to, you know, we can't do this. And 20 years talk back and forth. And because it was possible 20 years ago already. And then COVID-19 hits, and 2 weeks and they're online. So
Right.
we
And
are behind schedule.
hundreds of businesses haven't even up until now had a website or a web page, any web presence, and they've all scrambled to implement that so that they can continue trading and commerce online. I mean, let's face it, Jeff Bezos has pretty much proven that online could be a good thing. So it's time for anyone to have a share of the pie there. But I think just old school call people that, or just old infrastructures just needed a bit of a kick, which they've now had a serious kick up the backside, and a lot of people are experiencing the benefits. We were talking earlier on about how people they well, financially it should cost a little bit less now if you've had lockdown and you haven't had to travel to work, is another example. So now working from home, there's you know, people should
It's
be.
good for the environment too.
There's that as well, absolutely. Yeah. Wait, again, I mean, well, as I said earlier at the beginning of this, where do you start with this first broadcast as to introducing ourselves or any topic? And just this one topic, it's a case of where do you begin? As you just interjected there, the
Absolutely.
environment. We could talk about that.
Have you seen the pictures? I don't know how true they are, but the pictures of the Ganges.
No, no.
Well, there's a few pictures out there of the before and after effect of the
Oh,
COVID
I
19.
didn't see the Ganges, but do continue just a moment after I've said that. I have seen, to qualify, at the beginning of the pandemic, once we had lockdown here in the UK, across the country, we were shown pictures from around the world. For example, Los Angeles, that's not so bad compared to Asia, where all the smog was the before and after. There was no smog with all the traffic just
And
ceasing.
that's a horrible thing for LA, because that's part of the attraction there.
Well, yeah, yeah, but
Destroys the skyline without the smog.
right. Yeah, you did actually wonder where you were when you looked at some pictures and the sky was completely clean of all these fumes. Yeah, it could have been a totally different part of the planet, and particularly I saw pictures in Asia, India, and you were telling us anyway about the Ganges. What was significantly different there,
Well, it
before
was
and after?
cleaner.
It was
I guess I guess fewer dead bodies floating around. I don't know. It just seemed a lot cleaner. You know, they spend a lot. They do a lot in that river. You know, whether it's cleaning, washing, ceremonies. So it just got a lot cleaner.
right.
People
Yeah,
stayed
it's
home.
yeah. A lot of people still are, of course, because up until very recently, the whole of the UK, if you're a certain age and in a certain bracket of society, you know, senior citizens, that you were considered to be more vulnerable and had to isolate for something like 12 weeks, maybe a little bit longer, but certainly up to 12 weeks. The
12,
thing is,
12 weeks.
yes, yes. Oh, yes.
2 weeks, you mean?
No, I mean 3 months, Jimmy. Yeah. And in
Really?
fact, just what are we on now? 15, getting on for 16 hours ago at midnight today, the 31st of July, 2020. It was announced by the government that another region in the UK has to have another lockdown now. It's Middlesbrough, and I think it's Yorkshire. I can't remember whether it's East or West Yorkshire, you might say. But yes.
The place where the pie's from.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. But there's been another spike.
Okay.
Again, all this with the spikes and everything, I think realistically, this first wave has not gone away. It's as simple as that. And it's even you know, it's just been sort of bubbling away there. The virus isn't going anywhere. We must remember that. You know, I heard someone else, again, a broadcaster, I think it was on the radio, either this morning or yesterday, say about this coronavirus. It hasn't gone away yet. It is never going to go away. Whether it's just on a plant leaf in the middle of a jungle still for the next 50 years, you know what I'm saying? We're not going to eradicate it at all. And if we have a mindset like that, I think it's going to be better for all of us. It's in the same context when we were told at the beginning of the year there was a pandemic, it's going to be serious. No one could obviously tell us when it was going to be over or when we're going to have a vaccine. Ultimately, that's what everyone's waiting to hear about. I said to myself, you know what, Martin, the next 12 months are pretty much on hold. So do the things you've got to do. It's going to be pretty much survival rather than living. Again, easier said for many. You know, if you're used to being around a lot of people, whether it's because of your work or just generally you're a people person and like to socialize, going to bars, pubs, it's going to be tough. Going to soccer matches, going to cricket matches, anything like that. Sumo wrestling, I don't know.
Well, no. Well, the big thing is, well, I'm in Japan, so this year was supposed to be the Tokyo Olympics.
Of course it was.
It was supposed to start last week, so that's a big deal. And I've been here for 7 years, so I've been hearing. I mean, most of the time I've been here is like the Tokyo Olympics is a big deal. They've been investing a lot of money, building hotels, preparing for a big, the big event, and then suddenly it's gone. So, and now it's been postponed to next year, and it's very interesting. Interesting thing is, I thought, well, maybe, Japanese people were scrambling last year to try to get tickets for the Olympics and they couldn't.
Right.
So I'm wondering what's going to happen next year. Okay, maybe the athletes will come to Japan, but I don't think there's going to be a big crowd of foreigners. So now there's going to be a big Japanese crowd, and I'd like to call it well, it always has been because it has been televised, but it's going to be the Tele-Olympics for sure.
Right. Yeah, well, that's like a lot of things, isn't it? Going online now to it's the next best thing because you can't be there in person and have crowds around. By the way, I don't know what the TV show is over there. The equivalent in Japan. Over here, we have Dragon's Den, aka Shark Tank in the USA. But all I'm thinking of is whatever it is you have there. I guess they're looking out for someone now for a time machine, and then they can go back and have the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. Yeah.
Well,
it's crazy time.
It is a crazy time. It is a crazy time. Well, I mean, for me, it's like I've always thought the best seat was TV anyway.
Yes, I've never been too enthused to go to a soccer football match at all because you get the best view on TV. A good example, I still follow it from time to time, but I used to be a huge follower of Formula One motor racing. And of course, when you're there, all you see is zoom, 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 just from one side to the other. Yeah, but of course on TV you see the whole circuit, the whole track, and get the big picture. And when you go there, you're paying like hundreds and thousands of pounds, dollars, yen for a seat when you can just watch it from
Well,
free.
I mean, you're watching it from a window in your hotel in Monaco.
Right. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? Yeah, have you been there before to Monaco?
No, I haven't.
You haven't been to
I haven't been invited yet. I mean,
right. Well, we need
Who's in
2 tickets.
charge?
Anyway, well, Bernie Ecclestone used to be the man, but these days, I don't know. Well, anyone watching this, if you've got a couple of spare tickets, I'm sure Jimmie wouldn't say no for next year's season. Certainly, subject to
Absolutely.
travel being possible. Oh, is that more of a Jim Beam there? I can see heading your way. I thought you were just leaning forward to reach for
No,
the glass.
I was just adjusting my glass.
Okay, well, I tell you, I'm so thoughtful. Look what I'm going to do just for Jimmie now. You see now now he's got an ideal opportunity. If I was
No. I have been. I have no problem. I have been a bartender also in my lifetime. So,
yeah. If I was that thoughtful, I'd have muted your microphone while you were as well. But anyway, no. So do you know what? We've skipped forward, but I knew this would happen, and there's no problem with it. But I think we need to just take a step back and tell everyone why we are both here at the same time. Me talking with you, you talking with me, rather than there being someone else on the other side of the screen.
sure.
It's been a while. What year was it? I think it was around about the beginning of the noughties. It was about 2001, I think, because I was in the USA in just after September 11. The year that happened was that 2001. And it wasn't that visit, because on that occasion, shortly after 9/11 happened, I visited New York on the East Coast. I was, and then it was the visit after that, I think the following fall, autumn time, that I visited the West Coast again, the Los Angeles, where you were based at the time, right?
Yes. Hollywood. I was living in Hollywood. I lived in Hollywood for close to 20 years. I'm living in Japan now, but yeah, at the time I was in Los Angeles. Yeah.
You were, and I'm trying desperately to remember. I thought about this briefly in the past, knowing that we were going to have this chat soonish. Where did we actually meet? Because
I'm thinking somewhere on Melrose.
I think it was another one of those occasions where I met someone, you, in the street, because I have a friend, Stuart, still to this day. He lives in Los Angeles, just east of the Hollywood area, and we met in the street. We were literally waiting to cross the street, and he said
we met in a bar. I'm thinking we met in a bar.
Well, maybe we did. I know the bar. If we did, I know the bar, and I think
Which one?
Right, the Bungalow bar. Before it's now no longer. And that's
the Bungalow bar is a place very close from the Voice
Melrose
Mechanics.
Avenue, close to
on the next corner from the Voice Mechanics place.
That's why then. Yes, Sean, who was with you at the time. There was Sean and Mr. Crazy.
Yeah. You get him on. Get him on. Nobody will understand what's going on.
I hope he's well. I hope that everyone is well. But certainly,
he sends me random messages sometimes.
Steve UFO Rider, the director, the main director from the Bungalow Cafe in that region of Hollywood. Yeah.
Yes.
So that just seems like another lifetime ago, doesn't it? But it's
Absolutely.
interesting. So we met in a bar, and here you are with your Jim Beam right now. But that was a great bar, and sadly, I was going to say, why did it close down? Well, it could only been a case of not enough trade, and well, it's been on for a while
before
now.
COVID-19. You're talking.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. We're talking.
Well, they can't blame it on the coronavirus then.
Right. But I was back in Los Angeles at the end of 2018, so around about 18 months ago, 20 months ago now, and It wasn't there then. So yeah. So there we are. So we met there, and the rest is kind of history.
Well, this is a pre modern technology, almost on the cusp of it. So
thank you for the reminder. Yes, because I remember on that visit. Sorry, I remember on that visit I had one of my first laptop computers, no webcam. Remember that laptops never used to have a webcam.
Yeah, that's right.
Integrated. It never even had Wi-Fi integrated. That particular one. And
so how did we keep in touch? I'm wondering now how we kept in touch. Now it's very common.
Crystal ball. It was a crystal ball, you remember?
Well, I'm thinking it was. Well, I don't even think it was email. I'm thinking it was Messenger.
It was possibly Messenger.
Hotmail, Messenger.
It would have been MSN and Hotmail. Oh, good.
Yeah.
It's funny because some people watching this, they have no idea how far. It's easy for us who have, I say, been lucky enough to follow through the developments of when the internet was dial up through to now. I mean, come on, remember when YouTube was the size of a postage stamp? all these little
Absolutely.
videos and stuff.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
remember when Twitter first started, and all it was people literally going on there saying hi, just literally hi to no one, because they weren't connected at that time. You have no followers. And it was just one of those things. I think it was it evolved and it was literally as it happened. There was no sort of plan to be where it is now. I don't think Twitter ever thought that they would be one of the
Of course
breaking news
not.
leaders in the world, you know.
Well, when was started in what year? What year did Twitter start? 2006. Oh my God! So I'm thinking
Yeah,
that I probably signed up for Twitter, 2007 or 8,
me too.
and I
And I
still have
left
an account, and
just left it
I
away
have
there.
an account, and I still don't look at it.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same as what was it? It used to be called the Facebook, wasn't it? Before Facebook. I mean,
No, I don't know about that.
MySpace, obviously the predecessor to Facebook, kind of.
Facebook,
Certainly for people, that was another thing that was big at the time we met
MySpace.
in LA. Los Angeles, MySpace was the go-to
Ah,
place for
yes, I
bands
had
and
my
artists.
band because I
Yeah,
had a band. Everybody had bands, and I had a band. Well, I mean, I was in LA. I had a rock band. I had a heavy metal band. So
you did.
obviously, yeah, yeah.
Tell us about that briefly. I mean, how did that come about?
Well,
Did you initiate it?
no, well, no, we of course. I'm the fucking lead vocalist. So the lead vocalist always initiates it. No, I mean,
Where's that button I got to press? Carry on, young.
no, I mean, well, I was there in LA, so I needed to have a rock band. No, I know. I mean, that's what I want. I've always wanted to do. Right now, I'm taking a hiatus. It wasn't as successful as I planned.
Oh yeah, but
Uh,
you're ahead of the people that haven't tried. You see, that's the point, isn't it? And I mean, when I mention these
by
sort
the
of,
time by the time I started my band, the kind of music I was playing had died already.
well, you just
It was I was
rejuvenated
born
stuff.
in the wrong era. I was born in the wrong era. The big
We said
problem
this
there.
earlier on. You do need a time machine. It's quite clear. So again, anyone out there, whether it's tickets to Formula One or a time machine or both, do get in touch with us here. You can
Take
message
me
us.
back to 1984 or
1984. What?
69 or 1974. Any of those dates.
Okay. Specifically because for those that
The music. I can fit into any of those eras.
right, okay. You see, these days, I think music's a little bit lost when it comes to. I mean, remember the garage music, the grime at the moment. That's been in the news recently for one of the artists there being a bit naughty online. And I tell you now, Stormzy. This is a name that's big from the UK at the moment, and I happened to see one of the news items, which is how I learned about him and what he's all
No
about.
clue.
No clue. But as it happens, it's not normally my style or type of music, but I've got into him a bit, and certainly after seeing him perform at Glastonbury as well. Totally different to someone like Adele, who I don't know if it was yourself I mentioned. Are you a Adele fan? Again, no clue.
No,
No, no. There's
no.
yeah. She sung such great tracks as When We Were Young, and yeah. As I say, I got into her stuff. Haven't heard from her recently in the charts. I don't really follow the charts these
Stormzy.
days.
I think I've heard of him, and I think not because of the music. It's probably because of his political views or something that he's mentioned politically
Yes,
that I
maybe,
kind of agreed with. I think is he
possibly.
is he is he is he? Well, he's
Could be
not a
because of
total
TLM.
liberal. He's more of a realist. I think that's what it
There's a black
was.
artist who is obviously he's been around recently expressing his views when it comes to Black Lives Matter. He was in the news recently locally in London because there's a project where if someone deserves something because of the work they've done, or maybe they've studied well at university, college, that kind of thing, you can vote for them to be awarded in some way and rewarded. And Stormzy went to paint this guy's bedroom in his home, in his house. And when he came home, at first, I don't think he even knew anyone was painting it. But when he came in, he saw it was being painted. And then suddenly, of course, he'd seen that it was Stormzy and he was taken
I
aback.
see it right here. Stormzy helps decorate boys' bedroom as reward for good for good. Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well,
And that sort of thing. I mean, it's at the end of the day, I say only, it's only time. But hey, when you're Stormzy, like 1 hour is like $10,000 or something. So it's got a value to that degree. But for that person, for that boy, the teenager, I think he was a teenager, maybe early 20s.
yes.
For him, it was invaluable and something that he'll always remember for
It
the rest of
sounds
his life.
great.
And I
Maybe
remember
I should. I'll
Sorry.
check it out.
Well,
I mean, I'll check him out, but I'm not really, I'm not really into that sort of music. But I'll check it out. I'll check it out.
no, they do. No, when you say that, I think I should. I thought you were going to continue the sentence and say that maybe you should start painting rooms and signing your autograph on the wall like Stormzy.
I don't want nobody's autograph on my wall. But
No,
let
they
me
might
tell you,
want yours on their wall because if you're an artist, I mean, listen, you haven't even touched on the fact that you also into jazz and you're a jazz singer, all
well,
that
I was
stuff.
singing jazz. I was singing
Yeah.
in Yokohama, in another city in Japan, for about 5 or
Mhm.
6 years. I was singing jazz at a jazz bar. Um, but I have something very interesting to report.
Do.
Yes, about well, I'm starting to collect records again,
I
vinyl.
know. Yeah.
And so last week I bought on an auction site. I bought a record player. It's probably from the late 70s or early 80s. Very nice, high quality record player. And now I'm looking for a stereo amp from 70s, an integrated stereo amp from the 70s or 80s. Because of course you can get a high end amp now, which is going to cost you. Well, if I make it in dollars, it's going to be like $2,000, $3,000. But in general, the sound quality of the equipment, music equipment, was much better in the 70s and 80s.
Well, valves as well. Yeah, valve electronics, not to semiconductors. A lot of
You're
people
talking about, was it tube amps? Tube amps.
tubes. That's it. Tubes. They call them
Tube
valves.
amps.
Yeah, certainly in this
Yeah,
part of Europe.
tube amps. Even solid state technology,
Mm.
bigger stereos, bigger was it speakers,
It
and
was
was it one piece of equipment was dedicated to just the power, one piece of equipment was dedicated just for the radio. And after about the mid 90s, the same time that technology, computers, internet, we were talking, was it USB, MP3, make it smaller, make it compact, make the smile and it more convenient. And yes, it is more convenient. I'm guilty of watching YouTube too, but now I'm getting back into, what I want to get back into, the ritual of listening to music.
right.
It's an actual ritual. You take the record, you clean the record, you place it on carefully, and you look at the cover and you listen to it with such a warm sound from the record. So I'm going to get an amp now, with a stereo amp, and I'm going to put together a system. And they're quite expensive. They're more expensive than you think. This is a very interesting thing. I want to get an old amp, and if it's broken, I'm going to try to fix it. I'm going to learn old electronics and try to fix it. The most interesting part is that, computer-wise, everything is moving so fast forward that an old piece of technology from computers is practically unusable. But on the musical side, it's actually becoming a little bit more popular.
Right. No, I know exactly what you mean, and it's all down to quantity versus quality as well. And as you say, things like they become obsolete so much quicker now, all the modern electronics. But there was a much more care and attention. It's all down to valuing items as well, because we now live in a disposable society as well. So when something's broken, you don't go the repair shops. I remember, when I was a child, if the kettle broke, my parents would take it to the repair shop and they would put a new element in the kettle. These days, a kettle costs what, $6
Now, let
new?
me tell you something, but that kettle that you're talking about is
Yes,
a kettle that I would want, because it's
right.
probably of a much higher quality. It was probably handmade,
Yeah.
and it's probably a better metal. I mean, it is interesting. I just bought a copper kettle, a
Did you?
solid copper kettle.
One of these that goes on a gas stove rather than
Yeah,
on
but
an electric.
no, 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 copper.
Right. Yes. Well, it
So,
conducts in a different way.
well, I think India uses a lot of copper.
Okay.
Uh, was it they drink out of copper, and it has health benefits, the same as a silver has health benefits too. So,
Right.
and you can find copper kettles now, but it's only a copper coating on the outside, but not in the inside. So I found a solid copper kettle that needs to be cleaned still, but yeah, it's a
Wow.
much higher quality. It's handmade, of course.
I've just got to make a note here. We must, one of the topics for one of our future broadcasts, kettles. Yeah. I mean, copper kettle, electric kettle. Yeah. Where do we go with all that, eh? Wow. Jimmie, do you know how long we've been speaking for? I've been
How
speaking
long?
to you, well, since last month.
Excuse me?
What's the time there? Japanese Standard
Oh, yeah,
Time now,
exactly. It's the first day of August.
right? And
12,
it's
12, 12,
where I
12.
right, exactly. Here it's 12 minutes past 4 p.m. in the afternoon, a month before. Go figure.
Yes. Yes,
We're back
yes,
to the
yes.
time machine situation again.
We're a
There
day
you go.
away. You're always a day away.
Right, yeah, I'm so yesterday, and now I'm so last month. Anyway, I'm actually gonna, unless you've got anything else right now you want to ask people to comment on, that sort of thing. I mean, in general, just send your comments when you discover this craziness online, I would say. But we're going to hopefully be here. Well, we're going to be here regularly, but as to how regular, well, keep checking back. Follow the Facebook page at ShineCast, and you will be first to know when there's something new to listen to and watch as well. But do indeed comment as well. You can join us live when we are creating this craziness, and otherwise you catch us on the replay, as some of you will be doing right now, which means I have no idea whether the date we mentioned is irrelevant. There'll be people looking at this in 20 years time saying, what do you mean COVID, what's that all about, you know?
Well, that's a very important thing. If you
Yeah,
think about somebody who's being born this year during this COVID pandemic, will not know what went on. But
correct.
everybody was wearing masks.
Yeah, right. And they'll only have that in the history books and in videos when they look back on TV reports
Here
on
I
YouTube.
got. Let me add something here, like about the mask situation. This is a very interesting topic here. I'm in Japan. Asia is very everybody's used to wearing masks during the winter months when everybody has a cold. The crowded trains, they're going to protect themselves, but they're also protecting the others to not spread. In Taiwan, people ride, instead of cars, people ride mopeds or scooters. The scooter riding population is so big that everybody has like customized masks. China also wearing masks, mask. And in America right now, it's a big political thing. Oh, I'm not going to wear a mask. It's taking away my freedom. They're not used to this. They're not used to this thing about wearing masks. So was it now everybody's wearing masks? But I remember when I was living in America that I don't think I could even find a mask to buy unless I went to a hardware store.
Yes, and it was one of those, it was more rigid, and it's for if you're doing DIY work and the dust.
Sure, but the N95, yeah. But
That's
here
the
in Japan, it's
thing.
very common. It's you can buy it at the drugstore, you can buy it at the liquor store, you can buy it very common because people use it for
Yeah.
protection. And this is another interesting. Girls will wear it because they don't have to put makeup on their face, so they only put eyeshadow on and go out.
Really funny you should say that, because just recently they started producing here what I was wondering about, and I knew they'd be a bit more clammy and sticky and hot and sweaty, but now you can have transparent masks, or they're making them so that they're made
Wow.
out of transparent plastic, so people can still see your face. Because again, it's really important to remember, while on this topic, I would like to highlight that there are some people out there, they may be deaf, yeah, and they would normally lip
Yes,
read, that sort of thing. A lot of people, for
absolutely.
whatever, I mean, we all, without consciously realizing it, we all look at facial expressions, and in fact, we monitor and we judge a situation very quickly. If we're having an interaction in a store, particularly if it's, say, in a store, you've just taken something back to the store for a refund, and you're not quite sure whether they're going to take you well or not, and be positive about it or not. But I think before that person opens their mouth in response to you, the sign on their face gives you an indication, and you probably don't even think about it, the average person, but subconsciously you're setting yourself up for that moment when they respond,
Well,
visually.
a blind date becomes a double blind date because you think you know the person until they take off the mask and they got a
Yeah,
peek under there.
right. Maskdating.com. Do you think it hasn't started already? It's
Everybody looks better in a mask.
No, absolutely. I was out the other day, and I think someone he just looked at me, I sort of smiled. My eyes obviously sort of done the smiley sort of thing. Just go up a little bit, and squint
Absolutely.
slightly. But then I realised as I did it, I was like, "You idiot! You didn't see your smile. I had my mask on." So, but
Well,
also, yeah,
they can tell, we're
you
human
can
beings. We
tell,
know how to
right?
we can tell. It's
Yes,
we can tell by the eyes. Here's another interesting interjection while we're on the subject of masks.
of course.
I was watching a program and they were talking about makeup. This is another makeup thing, nothing to do with us guys, but for girls.
Well, some
So
guys like a bit of
last
makeup.
year, Last, yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't want
2020.
to. I don't want to gender appropriate anybody. Was it a? But anyway, was it a? Anyway, you're all free will. You're free to do that. I don't care.
You are in this
Um.
country, yeah, and certainly in Japan.
Well, yes, yes, you are. But okay, here's the deal. So, last year, the big seller, lipstick, the big seller. This year, nobody's buying lipstick.
Okay.
Unless you're, was it a private, was it one of those secret cross dressers? But anyway, no lipstick is being sold. So this year, the big trend is eyeshadow to accentuate the eyes.
Right. Yeah, because
Yeah,
there's no excuse not to buy it because a mask doesn't cover it up and all that. I
yeah,
get
cover
that.
your eyes.
Oh,
Exactly.
absolutely. I get that. I mean, uh, what next? I mean, maybe earrings. Earrings must be selling out faster now because they must be. Well, if you can't
Well,
see, I don't know.
anything you can see, anything you can see. That's
Well,
right.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Will help the market and the economy keep going while people
This
stop buying
winter,
products for.
pestilence masks coming your way.
Right. It's funny actually. You made me smile when you mentioned N95. Yeah. Or was it N96? I can't. Yeah, yeah. But what you mentioned, because when you said it, I realized you were talking about the masks. Obviously, I'd never heard of that N number, 90 whatever, until recently. I mean, who would have known
Yeah.
if someone says N9? Is it 96 or 95? Yeah, you can't.
At
One of them.
95 K, it's an N95,
Yeah.
and if you want the Chinese version, I think it's the KN95. I think.
Right. Well, as I say, I mean, if you'd have mentioned that to me like a year ago, I would have thought that the N95 was just an interstate somewhere in the USA or some local route.
Yeah.
So there you go. Listen, I think we're going to call it a day here. If you're okay with that, I mean,
Oh, come on. We just got started, Martin.
I know.
It's a new day.
It's a new month. Yeah, it's a new way. There's a song there somewhere as well.
Well, maybe we'll pick off where we leave off. Well, we'll pick up where we left off today next week.
Right, which is just a bit of this, a bit of that, and a bit of whatever else. And hopefully,
Yeah, sure.
as I say, as time goes on, we'll definitely be having people joining us, and that'll be great as well.
And eventually, we'll have some structure.
Well, I don't know, a little bit of just
Or maybe no. I think that no structure probably works better.
Well, the thing is as well, when people start asking us questions or to comment on certain things or giving us their opinions and joining in as well, that's when certainly some structure also takes place. It's always good to have a bit of structure when you.
Yeah,
But, and usually,
I'd like to get some callers in too.
oh, definitely, and we can even arrange for that as well. I mean, as I say, we will be having other guests on. I'll be speaking to other people, but why not?
Sure.
We can certainly have a 3, 4, 5, 6 of them on here with all this technology. It's all possible.
Absolutely.
Indeed, it is. Well, listen, you rest well now because I know it's pretty late there. It's what is it now? 40 minutes, 20 past midnight, right?
I still got to empty my bottle.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Then you got to refill it after, right? You know what I'm saying? With all that.
I got another one.
Jimmie, it's been a pleasure, and yeah,
absolutely.
I should have done this a long time ago, but hey. We're here now. It's happening, and that's all good. Here on ShineCast, that is Mr. Jimmie Heaven, live and direct from Japan. Thanks for joining us, Jimmie. You stay safe there.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
You.
Stay safe too.
Thank you very much. Right, Jimmie's somewhere in the background there as I just wrap this up and say thank you to you for watching, and keep following here on ShineCast. You can also follow me, Martin Shine, on Twitter. At Martin Shine. You can also follow me on Periscope, same as Twitter, at Martin Shine, because from time to time I go live, and you can also see these things going on in the background and bits and pieces, just like I was saying earlier before the titles were seen on this podcast on the recording. If you're watching the recording, there were some funny bits there, I think, with Jimmie and me, as there might well be after I say farewell to you and roll the titles now, which is what I think I better do. Otherwise, this might go on for another half an hour. Thank you once again. Until next time, stay safe. Bye-bye for now. Oh, there we are. Right, no, we were out there. That's good. That's good. Jimmie,
Okay, went well.
You're happy to see again. We're still live, by the way, but that's the end of the recording. So again, if you're watching live, well, you know, actually, what I said was technically wrong, of course, because we're on Facebook Live. So when we stop the Facebook Live, people will be able to still replay the Facebook Live with the bits before and after the titles. So it's only when we redistribute this on YouTube and other platforms that people won't necessarily see what's going on before and after the main titles roll. Jimmie, that was really good. That was really good.
Yeah, it was. It was
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. We're going to stop the live in just a moment. It was much more, I say comfortable. It just flowed for me. I mean, there was so many
And you shaved. That was a big deal, I think.
giving the game away. Yeah, they're used to seeing me in all states on here, you know, because that's another thing as well. I mean, that's the point, you know, TV shows happen where the makeup artist is and hairstylist. Not at the moment because of COVID. A lot of them have been having to do, certainly the newscasters tell you, with all their roots, you know, just leaking out there big time now. They're telling you that they're having to explain. They feel it necessary to say, oh, you know, I'm sorry, I look a tramp today because there's no makeup artists allowed in the studios at the moment because of COVID-19. But again, it all happens behind the scenes, whether you're on a production, like a movie, and they let you see it or not. If you don't see it during the movie, you see it on the DVD extras, or is it a Blu-ray these days?
So your makeup artist is on a leave.
Yeah,
obviously.
always permanently. Yeah. Oh yeah. While I'm on planet Earth, my makeup artist and stylist. You're absolutely right. They're on leave. Listen, if you're going to start with that one, before you talk to me about artists being on leave, you want to speak to the President of the United States of America. If I had a hairstyle like that, I don't think there's any lawyer in the land that would be able to win it all back for me. You know. Anyway, let me just stop the broadcast. So thanks for watching, everyone, on the live, and let's just bye from Jimmie for now. Let's end the broadcast. We'll be back soon.